Ready to come on shore in another hour or two is sitting in a bay just to the east of Boothville, Louisiana, and it's only about 45 miles southeast of New Orleans right now. Let's look at the information. This was a 7 p.m. advisory. We just got the advisory for the 10 p.m. and the changes, instead of 75 miles southeast, is now 45 miles southeast. Winds are the same. It's moving to the northwest at 8. Pressure is still the same. Now let's look at the latest tropical storm warnings. Pascagoula to the mouth of the Mississippi River. Those will be up, including the water areas just to the east of New Orleans for the next 6 hours or so. When we look at the radar imagery, you can see the circulation center spinning around right here. That's the center, and you can see what we would consider the banding structure associated with the center. Just to the north of it, that would be where the strongest winds are. Boothville, just down here, the winds are gusting to about 20 miles per hour. Now, this band up here is going to come over New Orleans here in another hour or two. You're going to have your strongest winds probably in about 3 or 4 in the morning, New Orleans, and they'll be gusting to probably 40 miles per hour or so. We think the strongest winds will be farther to the south, just to the south of you. All the rain is pretty much to the north and east of the circulation. This is basically ground clutter associated with the cooling ground and very stable air that's actually being drawn into the circulation and weakening it at this time. So we don't expect the circulation to strengthen much before it makes landfall. You can see, though, that thunderstorms are on the increase again on the back side of it. They're going to come on shore over the next 6 hours or so and continue to produce more rain. So we'll continue to monitor this. The big threat is rain, so if you live in a low-lying area, watch out for potential local.
Before the top of the hour, and as always at this time, it is time for the Tropical Update. And the big weather story today continues to be Tropical Storm Bertha, which is milling around very close to the city of New Orleans. Now, from our satellite perspective, we can see that this is a rather broad area of low pressure, rather poorly defined, but the center of circulation very close to the swamps in southern Louisiana. And we do see some very heavy convection, though, in association with this tropical storm, with some of the heaviest rainfall right now occurring in southeastern Louisiana and across southern Mississippi. Now, at this point, here's the latest information that we have on Tropical Storm Bertha. It is still packing winds of nearly 40 miles per hour, moving ever so slowly off to the northwest at about 3 miles per hour. Again, it's not a very powerful system, so the winds are really not the biggest concern that we have with this tropical storm. Instead, the biggest concern will be very heavy rainfall, and we have flash flooding taking place right now across the northern Gulf. At this point, a reminder that tropical storm warnings continue from the mouth of the Mississippi back over through Pascagoula, Mississippi. And again, very heavy rains in association with this system. We've had some localized flooding in Jackson County, Mississippi, back through St. Tammany Parish in Louisiana. And the flash flood watches continue through later this afternoon. From our radar perspective, very heavy rain right now just north of New Orleans, right around Lake Pontchartrain. And again, the warnings continue for St. Tammany Parish. We've actually had some flooding being reported for the city of Slidell. More heavy rains, though, lifting over towards the Gulf Coastal region here in Mississippi. And we've actually had showers and thunderstorms curling back towards the Florida Panhandle. Even Pensacola reporting some thunder showers. So again, more heavy rain likely in this area through this afternoon. Now, outside of Bertha, though, another area of concern is a low-pressure system, too, situated just off the Carolina shoreline. It has not developed into anything, but we'll have to watch that area, too, for the potential for some development. And the rest of the Caribbean, fine.
Lyons. Dr. Lyons, any changes, say, between now and, say, about an hour ago, or does it look about the same?
Well, the rainfall looks about the same, but the system continues to weaken as it moves to the north-northwest. Let's look at the satellite image, and I'll show you where the center is. It's basically right where the low pressure is. And we see dry air spiraling around the west side, and that's why we have very little in the way of showers on the west side of the circulation. And converging air along this very heavy rain band that's been plaguing the Mobile, Alabama area and on toward the east in the extreme western portions of the Florida Panhandle the last 4 to 6 hours. The final advisory has been written on this, and we expect the system to continue to weaken. But keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a very strong system to produce flooding rains. Now, those winds of 30 miles per hour remain offshore in the heavy rain showers and gusts. We don't see any sustained winds that strong. The circulation center roughly right in this area here as it moves off to the north-northwest. But here's the heavy rain band that we're been most concerned about. The good news is that heavy rain band is pushing to the east, almost like a squall line, right toward the Fort Walton Beach and Destin area right now. You're getting heavy rain. But that's good because it's not training where the rain showers are moving over the same area continuously. So the rain is spreading off to the east, and that's sharing the wealth a little bit. So expect heavy rain the next 6 to 12 hours over those portions, but nothing that's going to produce massive flooding. Now we have another area of interest. This is a low-pressure system off the east coast of the United States. Circulation center is probably about in here based on the radar information and on the satellite image. The good news is the circulation is offshore and the winds are not too strong along the coast. The bad news is it's co-located with deep thunderstorms, and because of that, the hurricane hunters will be out there later this afternoon.
20 inches of rainfall. That's a lot. Macomb, Mississippi, almost 4 inches. 2.75 at Pensacola. 2 inches and more around Mobile, Alabama. We'll continue to see a lot of rain around the center, or at least the east of the center of this system. Rain particularly north of Lake Pontchartrain and causing some flooding problems. We have more rain and heavy rain moving toward the New Orleans area right now. Flash flood warnings, flash flood watches still out for the region. Some of this area could get locally heavy amounts up to 4 to 5 inches.
5 miles an hour. It has not been very organized. There's not much in the way of convection around the center of circulation, and we do think it will work along towards the north and east as a trough digs in here. So we're talking about a movement into the North Atlantic over the next couple of days. So some good news there. And farther westward, we have Tropical Depression Bertha. This actually moved into the Gulf Coast Monday morning as a tropical storm. We saw some very heavy rain in Mississippi and Louisiana. Has emerged once again into the northwest Gulf, and we'll have to watch it over the next couple of days, but it doesn't look all that good right now. Certainly not much at all in the way of thunderstorms near that center of circulation. In the southeast, some cooler air today, and along the leading edge of that boundary, scattered showers and storms, some very heavy rain in some cases. Still a bit of a light show here.
Stay tuned for this dramatic hour.